And welcome to Radio Echad, South Florida's premier radio station, where we have unbelievable content from fantastic rabbis and even more fantastic Divrei Torah, the word of Hashem, something that every single one of us can connect to on our level. Today's radio program is being generously sponsored by our wonderful, amazing DJ Shaq FX. Le'iloi Nishmas, Yishai ben Miriam, as well as Le'iloi Nishmas, Romia bat Saada, Yechia ben Maria, Yoshua ben Najjar, Miriam bat Chana, Avod ben Nisim Olam, as well as a refuah and hatzlacha for Yitzchak ben Yechia, Yonah bat Miriam, and Oded ben Yitzchak. Thank you, DJ FX. And we have Lucas here in the studio joining me today. And today we're going to be discussing two awesome ideas about one, and this week's Parsha, Parshas Vayikra, and secondly, Haggadah Shel Pesach. We're now approaching Pesach, and we're going to be taking a little bit of a break from the time that we're having this class this week, and next week we're a little bit off, and after that we're going to be on our little Pesach break. So we hope to rejoin you, Mitzvah Shem, in a rebuilt Yerushalayim, eating from the Karban Pesach. If not, then we'll be joining once again on Radio Echad in South Florida. If not, it's going to be Radio Echad in Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. Very briefly, an eye to the future. What does that mean, having an eye to the future? Very simple. The Medrash tells us in this week's parsha, in Vayikra el Moshe, and he called out to Moshe, Vayidaber el Moed Leimar, and he spoke from the El Moed, saying all the halachas that Moshe Rabbeinu should repeat over to the Jewish people. Says the Medrash the following: V'yad zahav mirab pninim. You should know that having zav and many pearls or many jewels is nothing compared to that of having chachma, having wisdom. Quoting a pasuk in Mishlei, Chaf Tesvav. The question asked in Zer Shimshon is, what does one thing have to do with the other? Moshe Rabbeinu is talking about that Hashem is speaking to him, and he's conveying over the message of Hashem. What does that have to do with gold, silver, items that presumably we're counting here in the Mishkan? It has nothing to do one with the other. What's going on over here? Says the Zer Shimshon an unbelievable idea, which is Moshe Rabbeinu was very upset. What was he upset with? He was upset with Hashem. Look, what's going on? All the people are coming, they're going, everyone's donating all these wonderful items. Even the Nesiim who came last and they wanted to donate it and wait until everyone was finished, they also got to bring something. So Moshe Rabbeinu was like, wait, hold on one second. Full stop here. What's going on over here? Everyone else is bringing something and I can't bring anything? Hashem said, don't worry. You could bring something. It's going to be a lot better what you're going to bring, and your reward is going to be much greater than them. As Zer Shimshon, what's he talking about? Says Zer Shimshon, you know what he's talking about? He's talking about Leimor. The key word here is that word, Leimor. You, Moshe Rabbeinu, from now on, the words that you say carry great weight. You know why? I am speaking directly to you. Because you desired so much to want to bring something to the Mishkan and bring holiness to this world, because you that inner flame that you wanted so much with such enthusiasm to bring Kedusha, bring holiness onto this world, it's not going to be withheld from you, says Hashem to Moshe. Every time you open up your mouth, it's like Shechina Medaveres B'Tachrena. It's like Hashem says, I'm residing in your throat and I'm speaking as well. I heard a beautiful interpretation. How is it the Jewish people knew that Shechina Medaveres B'Tachrena, that the Shechina, the divine presence, rested in Moshe Rabbeinu's throat? Very simple, because we know that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was a young child, he reached forward to grab the gold when he was a young child, and that would prove that he wanted to usurp power from his throne. And a malach came, and a malach of Rachamim came and pushed his hand to the other side, similar to like that with Esther pointing to Achashverosh, pointed and said to Haman. But the malach came and whacked his hand from one side to the other. He grabbed the burning coals, which the embers of the coals, they also have a goldish hue to them. He grabbed it, and instinctively, it was so hot, he placed the coals on his lips, and he burnt the edges of his lips. He did not have lips, and he could not say the word bump, Beis Vav Mem Fe. Beis Vav Mem Pe. And a very easy way to see that you can't say it without your lips is, try saying those four letters, Beis Vav Mem Pe, without using your lips. And the easy way to do that, to see that you can't do it, is if you push up the top of your lip to your nose and the bottom of your lip down to your chin, and you try to say it. So for example, when he introduced himself, he'd say, my name is Hoshe, because he could not say Moshe. He wasn't able to say that because he couldn't say that. Try that, you'll see. Moshe Rabbeinu could not say those words. So every time he spoke, they knew if it was Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's talking like this, and it was Moshe Rabbeinu talking, because he was unable to elicit anything from his lips. But when they heard him speaking perfectly, they knew that wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu anymore. Rather, they knew it was Hashem that was now speaking. So Hashem is now telling the people, you should know, every time this man opens his lips, it is Hashem Almighty himself talking to them. And that is the greatest testimony to Hashem coming down in this world of holiness. That when you have this Shekhinah is literally speaking through a person, says Hashem to Moshe Rabbeinu, you had such a desire that you wanted to bring gold, silver, jewels, diamonds, all those. That's wonderful. I'm going to give you something even better, and that's me talking through you. When people see that you literally are the physical embodiment of Hashem's message in this world, and you have an eye to the future, you wanted that, Hashem says, I'm going to give that key to you. I'm going to allow you to be my conduit to be able to speak to the people of what it is. And that answers a lot of questions, how people are able to trust Moshe Rabbeinu. How did they know he was telling the truth? Moshe Avdim, Hashem says, Moshe is my servant. How did they know that? The answer is they knew that because whenever he opened up his mouth, they knew it was definitely him. And says Zera Shimshon, why is it that Moshe Rabbeinu merited to have this unbelievable, amazing award? The reason why he merited to have that was because Gadol HaMa'oseh Yosem Min Ha'oseh. Greater is the one who causes others to do a mitzvah more than the one that does the mitzvah. And I heard an awesome interpretation in that. Why is that? They say very simple. Somebody who does a mitzvah or does a good thing, deep down they say to himself, hey, look at me. I'm pretty awesome. I did it. And they always have that frame of reference of they knew what they were doing and they had the consciousness to understand that they were doing the right thing. So they'll always refer back to, yeah, I did it. But somebody who doesn't actually do the action, they cause other people to do the action, they don't really know what they did. So they don't even have that frame of reference. It is totally obscured and hidden from them. They won't know that until after they come to the next world. And that is the word of Hashem. Gadol HaMa'oseh Yosem Min Ha'oseh. Greater is the one who causes other people to do something than the one who does it, because they don't even have the benefit of that godliness, that holiness being brought into this world. And it'll only be revealed to them much later. Rabbi Sachron said a fantastic story a number of years ago. And I actually confirmed this story because I knew who it was with. He said this story, there was a Rabbi Rodin in Dallas, Texas. I asked Rabbi Rodin if this story is true. He told me 100%. And I'd like to repeat it and tell you this story as well. The story goes is that Rabbi Rodin one time gets a phone call from somebody that he never heard of, nothing. He didn't know who he was. This person from Dallas, Texas. Hi, are you an Orthodox synagogue? Yes, I am. Rabbi Rodin, I'd like to come down and give a donation. Make a long story short, he became from, and he came, I'm skipping a lot of parts. But the point is, he gave a donation, and that led to other things. And how did it start? He said, this person said, I was at the Kotel, I was at the Kosel Maravi, at the Western Wall, and there was this Yerushalmi Yid who was praying, and he was crying, and I felt so bad at his tearful entreaties to Hashem that I said, I have to do something with this person. And this Texan ran to the bus to try to get some money because he didn't have any money on him. And by the time he came back, that man who was there at the wall was no longer there. He finished praying. He didn't know what to do. He wanted to give him some money to help him out, but he sees he's not there. What's he going to do? Suddenly he gets an idea. You know what? When I get back to Dallas, where would this rabbi, if he were to go collecting and come to Dallas, Texas, where would he feel the most comfortable to pray? Obviously, he would only pray in an Orthodox synagogue. So he opened up the phone book, looked for an Orthodox synagogue, and lo and behold, Rabbi Rodin's Oyev Shalom's congregation in Dallas, Texas, in North Dallas, came up. He called up Rabbi Rodin. Rabbi Rodin, I'd like to schedule a meeting, and make a long story short, a beautiful, fruitful relationship ensued, and the family is 100% from because of that amazing deed that he had where he wanted to give tzedakah to this person. Says Rabbi Sachron, can you imagine, after 120 years, this Yerushalmi, or whoever it was, this very Erlich Yid, comes up to the pearly gates, and when he comes up to Shemaim, and he comes up there, and suddenly the Malachim say to him, by the way, you should just know, there's a family so-and-so in Dallas. He said, Dallas? What's? He says, I know dollars. Ich weiß Dallas, aber wo is Texas? He says, I know dollars. What's Texas? No, Dallas. Dallas is a city in Texas. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And they'll show him that whole thing. Great is the one who caused the mitzvah. This Yid didn't even know that he did what he did. I have a friend of mine, Simchi Weingart. I don't think he even knows the story. I remember it was right after Shavuos learning and tells, and we were learning. It was amazing. We went to the yeshiva dining room after davening was over. We had our cheesecake, and we're getting ready to go back to our dormitory and get some good sleep to have our fleishik suda afterwards. And I remember as I'm walking back, I wasn't that tired. I mean, I just had a little bit of cheesecake, but I was a little tired, and suddenly I started having this debate back and forth. So I'm leaving the dining room. I'm saying to myself, if I go to the right towards the dormitory, I'm going to go to sleep like everyone else. But I really maybe should go to the left and show that I really had a real Kabbalah Torah. I really accepted the Torah upon myself. You know what? Maybe I should go back. And then my Yetzer Hara says to me, no, you don't want to do that. It's going to wreck your whole day. And then my Yetzer Tov says, no, but you need to do it. You need to show Kabbalah Torah back and forth, back and forth. So you know what? I have no energy to have this debate in my head. Oh my gosh, my classmate, Simchi Wangat, my chavrusa, he's walking right in front of me. You know what? Wherever Simchi goes, I'm going to follow. That's what I was thinking to myself as he's going. He did not even know this. I was thinking to myself, he's walking and walking. I'm saying, okay, if Simchi's going to the Beis Medrash, I'm going to say, if he's going to the dormitory, I'm going to the dormitory. And Simchi Wangat marched into the Beis Medrash, and he didn't realize that Yehoshua Sova followed right behind him. I learned for another few good minutes. And then afterwards, I went to the dormitory, and it was a beautiful year for me personally and personal growth. Simchi Wangat has no clue that happened. He didn't know that impetus for growth was he was just doing what he was doing anyways. You have that too. You do what you're doing, quote unquote, anyways, and you're doing the right thing. People take note of that. They see that and they say, you know what? I have my eye on you, and then you have your eye on the future. Because now that has happened, Hashem guarantees that whatever is going to happen, I am watching, says Hashem. I see what's going to be. Because you did what you did, you're going to have an unbelievable reward. Moshe Rabbeinu, he really desired to be part of the Mishkan. And it looked like he was not going to be in any shape or form. Is he going to donate anything? And yet, Hashem says, no, you want to be a conduit for Kedusha, for holiness? I will make it that people know. When you open up your mouth, everyone knows it's from me. And that's bringing holiness to the world. Because you desired, you wanted to. And since you caused the other Jews to do this wonderful thing, bringing Hashras Hashchina into this world, I'm going to therefore I'm going to be speaking through you. You don't have to go too far to see many great tzaddikim and tzidkanias. When they would say certain things, people are like, how in the world do they know that? The answer is, Gadol ha'ma'osa yaseh min ha'iseh. Literally what the Zera Shimshon is saying. When you cause others to do unbelievable things, Hashem guarantees that for you, it's going to be, the Shekhinah is going to, sometimes you're going to say something, you don't even know what you said. Think about it. There have been times, I'm sure that's happened to me. People will come over to me and say, you said such and such. I'm like, I did? Maybe you're mixing me up. No, I remember. I've shared this story before, but I have to share it again because it's such a powerful story. Menachem Mindish, a fantastic friend of mine, unbelievable Ben Torah. There was a number of years that I was bouncing from job to job. Not only was I bouncing from job to job, I was bouncing from city to city. It was very, very not cool. And the story goes that I was at Atel's dinner, and I bumped into my friend Menachem Mindish, and this is how the conversation went. Oh, Yehoshua, so good to see you. Oh, Menachem, good to see you too. Yehoshua, wait, before you say anything. You're in... Oh, stop. I know where you were in Lakewood, right? No, you're not in Lakewood. One second. You were in Lakewood. I said, yeah, I was in Lakewood. Oh, you were in Lakewood. Oh, you left, right? Yeah, I left. Wait, you went to... I was about to say... No, one second. You're in Dallas, right? I said, no. I was in Dallas, but I left. Oh, okay, you left Dallas. Wait, Denver, right? I said, well, yeah, actually, I was in Denver too. You were in Lakewood, you were in Dallas, and you were in Denver? What do you mean you were in Denver? You're not there anymore? No, actually... I just moved to Miami. Oh, okay. So you were in Lakewood, Dallas, Denver, and now you're in Miami? So what are you doing? I'm actually in between jobs. I remember I struck out 5 times, which is impossible in the statistics of baseball. Right? I felt horrible. I felt so bad. And Menachem saw that I looked very down when I said that. He says, Yehoshua, do you know why all these things didn't work out for you? And I was like, oh my gosh, here goes another one. Yeah, what is it? Yeah, what am I doing wrong? Go ahead and tell me. He says, no, I want to tell you. You know what's going on with you? You know why these things didn't work out for you? Yeah, why, Menachem? It's because you're much bigger than all those 5 places. Oh my gosh. When he said that was such a paradigm shift. I suddenly said, oh my gosh, what an empowering statement. I'm much bigger than that. See, people sometimes they put you in a box. They say, you don't fit in the box. Of course I don't fit in the box. I'm much bigger than that. And a person should never, ever forget that. Menachem Mindish, you don't even realize it. The fact that you said that to me ripped open such an open vista of worlds that I said to myself, I'm not going to be cramped in all these little things. I'm much bigger than that. And it literally opened up my mindset to being much more macro because of that. And I told him years later, I said, Menachem, do you ever? No. I said that. I told him this a few months ago. I was speaking to him. I said, Menachem, I don't know if you realize. No. You're clearly mixing me. I said, Menachem, I know exactly where I was standing in which hotel in Cleveland, downtown Cleveland, and what floor we were on, what the carpet looked like. I remember exactly where you said it to me and how you said it to me. I remember how you said it to me. No, you're mixing me up. And you didn't mix me up. Menachem Indish has Golda Mosa Yosef and Oiseh. He has it. Yehoshua Sova, dreaming big and hopefully accomplishing big things as well. Because of that one comment that he made that he doesn't even remember he said. How many of us can make comments like that and have people to dream big? You're better than that. Go get it. You've got this. Do you know that I'm so struck with one of the most powerful lines that they actually made it the name of the book. When Sarah Shanir, who was not married, she didn't have any children, and she was the epitome of a mechaneches par excellence, training all the future Moras for Klal Yisrael. And she herself was not married and was not the mother of children. And she was telling her Talmidos to do that. And somebody said to her before they were going to take leave of her, Mora, how are we going to remember you? What's going to be? She says, you don't have to forget me. Carry me in your heart. You'll never forget me if you carry me in your heart. And we all have people inside our lives that we carry in our heart, that we have their legacy. We look up to them and we say, what would they have done? Are they proud of me? And then you do that, you're literally causing. Can you imagine that? You're the causative effect of allowing so many people to do what it is that you do. You know, people don't realize this, but if you look at earlier writings of Lubavitcher Rebbe, how much deference and honor he had for his father-in-law, unbelievable. And people who would speak to him privately, he would actually say, I'm just perpetuating what my father-in-law was trying to do in Russia, sending people out in the middle of nowhere, educating people. If you have Aleph, teach Aleph, etc. Unbelievable. It's amazing. Rav Ezra Atia, who gave chizik to Rav Ovadia Yosef, Sephardic Jewry in the world, owes it to this one Rosh Yeshiva in Porat Yosef that he believed in a Talmud called Ovadia, whose parents didn't see that although he had a phenomenally good memory, they thought he'd be a good store owner because he knew where everything had to go. Instead of him stacking shelves of products, he was stacking shelves with his Sfarim. Can you imagine that? Rav Ezra Atia, what he had? Rav Shach, when he talked about the idea of all these Rosh Yeshivas, how they treated him, and how he saw godless, and he saw such sensitivity to the klal, and how a person has to understand what they can carry on for the future generations. These giants among us, what they told us, how they said to us, we are the next generation, we are the ones that are going to carry on their legacy. Can you imagine that? And we're all doing that. Every single one of us is doing that. And says the Art Scroll, they have a commentary on this piece over here in Vayikra, and then we'll move on to the Agadah. Just like you have a diamond, or you have, let's say, any setting, and you place it together with gold, how beautiful it is. Sort of like any team championship that they started doing that shtick of, they would take the diamond, and based on the colors of the team, they would get that color for the diamond for whichever winning team it was. And then they put it encrusted, and they have the year, also with different colors as well. It looks gorgeous because you have colorful diamonds with the setting, actually spelling or showing you an image or a logo. That's amazing. He says that is the idea of what Moshe Rabbeinu was when he desired and he caused people to bring the Shekhinah. When you desire something and you cause others to bring light and brightness and illumination to the world, you are that catalyst that's going to provide such amazing things. Hashem says, you're more precious to me with your wisdom than that more beautiful diamond setting. Because you're doing ultimately what I want, which is bringing holiness into the world. So every one of us could do that. Especially when we come to the Chag HaPesach, right before Pesach, where it's the idea of the V'yigadat Levincha, teach your children. It doesn't just necessarily mean it could also be the inner child. It could be the child of your family members. It could be people in your community. It could be people who are, let's say, your Talmidim, your students. Any of that. They're your people that you're causing them to have the memory of you that will last for eternity. And that's going to carry on forever. That's an eye to the future that everyone of us could endeavor for. And the second thing with this we'd like to conclude is when it comes to Haggadah Shel Pesach, it says that Avram Avinu was anos al pi hadibur, the Haggadah says. He was forced. He didn't want to go down to Egypt. Hashem told him, you have to go. How do we know that? Says the Baal Agodo. Vayagosham. He lived there like a ger, like someone who just happens to be traveling, and he's there for just a limited time. He had no interest whatsoever. As is Shimshon, Anus al Pi Adibur, it says that he left Eretz Yisrael and he went down to Mitzrayim. He did not want to be there. Why do you have to come on to the next one? Excuse me, of Vayagosham, and then he lived there temporarily. No, the fact that it says Anus al Pi Adibur from the Vayatziyah, he left Eretz Yisrael. He was not happy doing that. That's enough that you see he didn't want to be there. Says Zera Shimshon, an unbelievable thing. Over time, wounds heal. Time heals wounds. And you have all these different people that have talked about different things that they've gone through. And over time, they kind of forget. Meshal yasa sechel yasa zman is the famous statement, which is, if people can't get certain things wrapped around their head, so fine, time will heal that wound. Yaakov goes down and he says, you know what? It's not that bad here. Maybe we could do good stuff here. Maybe it's not that bad, and we'll make it work. And he said, no. Vayagosham, no. Even though I left, I always had in mind, I'm going back. When you have in mind that you're always going back, you really are back. Rabbi Yehuda Halevi says a beautiful bitoy, an expression. My dear friend Yaakov Shruki, my chavrusa, he says this he said in a great album. Libi b'mizrach, my heart is in the east. That although in location I may be in one place, but my heart is in Eretz Yisrael. That's where I really belong. Everyone should feel that. If you have the desire, the innate desire you want to be there, you're there. And that's why in Makas Choshech, it's so apropos, Makas Choshech of darkness, because when someone's stuck in darkness, that means there is no hope. They don't see a glimmer of light. They don't see any hope. And these people passed away because they didn't want to be there. They wanted to be stuck in their darkness. Only 20%, some people say it's even less percentage of the amount of people who wanted to leave Mitzrayim. But the fact is, there were people who believed. They wanted out. If you really desire and you believe you want out, you have that eye for the future, you have your eye on the goal, Hashem says, you'll get it. You will get it. It's amazing, but there's a fantastic sports reference about this, which is a great mashal. When the Miami Heat made an improbable run to the NBA Finals, they had a solid team, but no one thought that they were NBA Finals worthy. And the story was revealed. How did they make it? So they said, Coach Eric Spoelstra, he put together a jigsaw puzzle. Every time they won a game, another piece was added until they were basically added that the final piece showed a complete Miami Heat logo with the NBA title, with the actual trophy. When we are able, after every game that we win, we put another piece in the puzzle. We're going to complete this puzzle this year. And that get people the drive to want to do it because it was real. You're putting another piece in the puzzle. Some people, they like to have a cheshbon. They like to put down on paper what it is that they've done. You should do that one time. It's a good business model. Successful business people do that all the time. They put down, okay, I have to allocate X and X amount of time, X amount of my money, certain resources I may have. Where are the things going? You'll be quite shocked. You'll see. They say a story that one time someone came to Rav Aaron Shleiman and told him, I don't understand, during an economic downturn, I lost tremendous amount of money. Rav Aaron without missing a beat, said, you haven't given Meister. Now this person, he didn't miss a beat either because he brought his accountant with him. And Rav Aaron says, you didn't give Meister. So he turns to the accountant, he says, my accountant is right here. And I'm sorry to be a mechutzes or shiva, but he'll back what I'm saying. Rav Aaron looked at her and said, go ahead and tell your accountant, there's no way you gave Meister. Because if you gave Meister, you wouldn't have lost your money. He said, if you were given 20%, not only would you not have lost, you would actually gained in this climate. Okay, what does Rosh Shiva know? He's over 100 years old. Okay, anyways, he turns to his accountant. Yeah, go ahead, run the numbers. He comes back and he says, I'm really embarrassed to tell you this, but the Rosh Shiva's right. What? How's Rosh Shiva right? He said, yeah, you only gave 8%. 8% you gave to tzedakah. That's it. Not even 10. And Rav Leib said, you didn't even need to tell me that to know that's true. I knew that was true. Why? When you give the right amount, Hashem will always be there for you. I got to share this story with you. This literally happened 2 weeks ago. My daughter, Tovi, cute like anything, 12 years old, and Tovi, with her good friend Esti, were outside selling lemonade on their very amazing lemonade stand. If you're in Miami Beach, make sure you stop by. And their my youngest child, Benny, is there helping his big sister, Tovi, and they're hawking their wares to make sure everyone who drives by to get a nice fresh cup of lemonade, and it's only for $1, and miraculously everyone just has a 20, and they try to give change, and everyone's like, yeah, just keep it, it's fine. Make a long story short, after being outside on 47th Street and selling their fresh lemonade, Tovi turns to Essie and says, okay, we got to go home. It's getting dark. We got to go home and split the proceeds to see how much we made. They go back to the house, and as they're counting, I said to Tovi, by the way, Tovi, remember, you have to give Meiser. She's like, okay, Tati, fine, whatever. Anyways, how much did they make? $114. So she's like, how much is it, Tati? I said, very simple, just take off a zero, that's what it is. It says $11.40. She's like, okay. I said, Tovi, if you want to round it up, that would be good. Just $12. So she's holding the $12. She's like, I said, Tovi, just don't allow your Yetzer Hara. Just give it already. And by the way, that's what they say. Sa'ar Shebe'is is the Yetzer Hara because he makes things wait and it rises. I don't know if I could do it. I'll wait until later. No, give it right away. Boom, like matzah. Bam, give it right away. So Tovi, to her great credit, took $12, immediately went, every home should have a pushka. She went to the pushka and put it in. I said, Tovi, I want you to know Hashem's going to pay you back. You're going to see. Okay. That night, you can ask my kids. They were there when this happened. That night, we went to a pizza shop. As we're in the pizza shop eating our delicious pizza, the waiter comes over to us and says, we had a little bit of miscalculation back in the kitchen, and he brought out this gorgeous, with the zigzags and the leaf and everything, a beautiful roll of sushi. A nice big roll. He says, we miscalculated how many rolls we were supposed to make. We already made it. The order already went out. This is going to go into the garbage, but it's freshly made. We'd like to give it to you as a gift. Here you go. Totally free. Bechinam. Totally, absolutely free. They put it down and we had some sushi to eat. Do you know how much that specific roll of that sushi costs in this restaurant? You guessed it, $11.40. Or $12 if you include tax. Exactly to the T. So when you understand Hashem's looking out for you, life's a lot easier because you have your eye to the future. Yaakov Avinu knew that when he came down to Mitzrayim, Onos al pi hadibur, in the beginning he said, wait, what am I doing here? Vayagar sham, even though he lived there, he still had the mindset, I'm not here for the long run. I'm only here temporarily. And once a person thinks like that, it changes. A whole bunch of things change. My Rabbi, Rishol Brog, he should live and be well. He gives me such chizuk every time I speak to him. He says, if you believe in Hashem, life's so easy. It's just easy. It's easy. Hashem's got your back. Not to say it's not challenging, but you know Hashem has got your back. And when he's got your back, you have an eye for the future. You're able to think about these things. You're saying to yourself, okay, great. I might be in a situation, but it's only temporary. And if a person understands Gam Ze Yavor, this will also pass, it'll be unbelievable for them. So again, let's just conclude with the following idea, which is that we discussed the idea of Moshe Rabbeinu having a desire, an eye for the future. He said, I want this too. I desire it as well. Hashem says, you desire it as well? I'll give it for you as well. People will know you're speaking through me, and you're going to be able to articulate that and be able to bless you and be able to have this idea. They were able to give it over to the future generations. And the second idea, which is this idea of the Haggadah. The Haggadah, that what is your mindset? Is your mindset that you're thinking, I don't belong here, I belong somewhere else, I belong in the Holy Land, I belong with Hashem Shekhinah? When you think like that, everything else changes. Hashem's got your back. So if we have the eye for the future, indeed Hashem will have his eye on us. Because Hashem loves every single one of us, and he knows that we all could be the catalyst for great growth for all the people around us, but most importantly, for ourselves. Thank you for listening. Have an awesome, uplifting Shabbos, and most importantly, have a real Zman Cheresenu, a time of freedom for you, for your family, for all your loved ones, for all of Am Yisrael. The hostages should be released. Our soldiers should be safe. Our B'nai Torah should be cherished and continue learning. We should all come together, Ba'aguda Achas, together as one unit, heralding the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu in this month of Nisan, where Geula is destined to happen. It happened before. It's going to happen again. Thank you for listening, and have an awesome